He was totally normal sized. He was like 190, 200 pounds. Search the rise of Levan Saginashvili, viewers online on YouTube. Search the rise of Levan Saginashvili. You see this guy go from 190 to 350 in the course of 3 years. It's unbelievable. He ate himself. It's just crazy. It's not even all muscle. Half of it's his head growing. It's just crazy. In the sport of arm wrestling, there are actually a couple of other interesting, freaky people. There's one called Dmitry Trubin. Dmitry Trubin was, Dennis was always huge. He was a super heavyweight. Dmitry Trubin was in the 180s or 190s originally. And a few years ago, there's a video on YouTube. You can search the rise of Dmitry Trubin. It's by, a compilation of clips. You can see this guy gain about 80 pounds of muscle in the course of 3 years or so. He goes from being 180 to 240 and beating monster Michael Todd, who was recently with Larry Wheels in Dubai. You guys have seen him, the guy with the big beard. He's the first guy to ever beat Michael Todd with this weird... Michael Todd has this weird technique where it's called the King's Move, where he hangs his arm and you can't really press it. And Dmitry Trubin, they call him the Optimus Prime. He gained like 80 pounds of muscle, went and figured out how to defeat him. It was a crazy match. There's another guy called, as I mentioned, Levan Saginashvili. They call him the Georgian Hulk. He was totally normal sized. He was like 190, 200 pounds. Search the rise of Levan Saginashvili, viewers online on YouTube. Search the rise of Levan Saginashvili. You see this guy go from 190 to 350 in the course of 3 years. It's unbelievable. He ate himself. It's just crazy. It's not even all muscle. Half of it's his head growing. It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm surprised about with some of these arm wrestlers is that the acromegaly is very pronounced.
Severe.
Yeah. I wonder if they take all the TB 500 and the BPC 157 stock,
I was thinking
the inflammation they have in their joints must be tremendous, probably more than powerlifters.
Yeah, Scott Mendelson and I were speculating on Levan when he first gained weight. I went to Scott and I was like, Scott, what's going on? How did this guy get so big? And Scott was like, I think they figured out some myostatin thing in the USSR. He's like, there's something in Eastern Europe. They figured it out. That's not G. He said he calls growth hormone G. So that's not G. That's something else.
You say a G in New York, that means something else also.
GHB?
That's a GHB.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you have to be careful.
Exactly.
So this is him. This thread is called Levan Saginashvili as an 80-kilogram mortal before he left humanity behind. And I don't know if you guys can see this in the chat.
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah, I see it.
So like presumably he hadn't touched really anything though before this transformation, or was it like he kind of peaked and then he like blew up again?
We would think that so the normal way you do it so he used to compete in the world's competitions, which are amateur, and they test randomly the winners. Usually what happens there is everyone cheats. And
Me and Steve are just like, okay.
So everyone cheats and then they hope they don't get selected for the testing. And if they do, they hope they pass. Usually they fail. So it's assumed that one would assume that Levan and his partner, Vikvinia, his name is Gennady Vikvinia from Georgia. One would assume those two were already cycling, and then Levan decided to become a superhuman.
I think Steve's frozen. I can look at the face that he's stuck on. It's been like that for like 20 seconds now.
I thought he was very pleased with my discussion.
Hopefully it doesn't screw up like the last one, but
it will. But we'll have the full recording, so it'll be fine. But anyway,
okay.
Yeah, the point is we would have thought that they would have been cycling and that suddenly Levan decided to just, like you said, surpass humanity.
Yeah.
And I really, between you and I really don't know what he did also. I really don't know. I mean, if it's GH and insulin, it's something on a whole different level.
Yeah, he like looks insane, dude, from what I'm seeing in these Google images right now.
Watch that video, Derek, when we go off. I'll send you a link. The Rise of Levan Saginashvili. It has music in the background and stuff. You can see his clips of his arm wrestling meets. But look, you see this guy go and just like normal guy, and then suddenly he just starts growing and growing and growing, and then suddenly no one can beat him. And at the moment, no arm wrestler in the world can beat Levan except Dennis.
32 years old. How old is Dennis? He's got to be in his 30s still, right?
40s.
I'm back, right?
He's 38 apparently.
You froze in an interesting posture.
You were like
Well,
mid laughing, and it just froze there for 30 seconds.
We'll fix that in post production. I'm sorry, guys. This is a third world country internet, so it's not 100% reliable, unfortunately.
Well, there's no second world anymore. So I think that, there's no USSR. So everything's just first and second, I think.
Yeah, I should be second. I got tremendous upload, but it's the correct. It's probably only internet in Thailand that is good, but to the outside world, it's still a bit of a slow connection. Sorry, guys.
Can we briefly talk about this gonadorelin and HCG?
Oh yeah.